So hi, good afternoon, everybody. I've got Lisa Tabor here with me today from Tax, Debts and Help and Advice. And Lisa, I would just love for you to start out about telling us a little bit more about the company and how you guys got started.
Yeah, no problem. We've grown the business organically. So a number of years ago, my background was debt management, financial solutions, and a very small throwaway comment from the director at the time was, why are arrears the HMRC not on debt management plans? Now, in a nutshell, going back 25 years, it simply is HMRC wouldn't take £1.20 against a £20,000 debt at the end of the day. So I started working with HMRC manuals, their collection processes, and developed a USP for them, which took the business onto AIM and ultimately onto the PLC and the stock market. Times change and things sort of moved on, but myself and my partner took over the business going back a number of years now and decided that, look, this tax service that we're offering is a niche, it's helpful, it's supportive, and it's something that was even back then really needed. The revenue were very tough when it came to things, and we're not very open about this option of giving people payment plans for their arrears. So we've focused on helping individuals and businesses that owe HMRC. For 25 years now, we've specialised in this arena. We've worked alongside a number of business rescue platforms and insolvency firms, and basically grown it from nothing, to build our network, to build the network around us that are specialists in other areas. Everyone has their remit when it comes to business and the field that they know best. For us, it is working with our clients and sitting in between them and HMRC. They're not the easiest of people to deal with, the revenue. So if we can take that burden off people's shoulders and get them payment plans that are affordable, that are sustainable, then, it just helps calm a situation. I mean, certainly following COVID, everyone's sort of mental health is in a different position, as are businesses and their finances. And alongside the revenue debts, we also help with business debts for limited companies. We offer directors support with a variety of mediation services as well.
Sorry. I was thinking as well, I'm glad that you went on to the aspect of COVID and things and how business has been effective. I'd love for you to kind of go down that route a little bit more and explain the challenges that kind of came up for you and that you were seeing come up around in the business sector during that time.
Yeah, no problem. I think the minute COVID hit, as with a lot of businesses, it was like someone turned your phones off and the world just went quiet. And everyone rode out COVID in the best way they could. There were obviously the loans that were available, bounce back loans and others, the furlough payments that were given to sort of limited companies. And people kind of stumbled through the last couple of years. So if I look at how the world started to change from the end of last year, for example, you were seeing the lockdowns had finished. You were seeing people trying to get back to normal. From our perspective, the revenue were extremely accommodating. They stopped chasing debts. They suspended some interest and penalties for a period of time. And then slowly towards the end of last year, kind of started chasing again, but be it oh so tentatively. But if you look at ourselves and other businesses, everyone has had to sustain their business from what the world looks like now, which is very different than it was prior to COVID. People are not spending money in abundance like they used to. So we are talking to a lot of industries, pubs, decorators, manufacturers, who are still not seeing the kind of income that they did prior to COVID. And then there are the knock-on effects that I don't think people have foreseen, let alone obviously the cost of living at the moment. People are having to find a balance between paying debts that have accrued within the businesses or for themselves, including the revenue, and keeping a roof over the head as well. And I think a lot of businesses are struggling, especially now we're getting to the point of 12 months into the likes of bounce back loan payments starting, the revenue now applying pressure and bully tactics again, looking to recover liabilities. And everything just feels a little bit on a knife edge. Some of the things, that we have learned and the knock-on effects from businesses has astounded us. We thought we'd heard everything over the years of doing this, but even insofar as the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has affected some industries as well, and people just didn't understand how this would roll. So if I take a very small HMRC liability that maybe came around for a company in 1920, that's then built across 20 and 21 for them. The business has probably sustained on a knife edge through the likes of bounce back loans or furlough payments. That's all come to an end, but they're not seeing the same cash injections. They're not seeing the same lending opportunities, be that for an individual or a business. The market's just completely changed. Lenders now don't want to give out to businesses if they have HMRC arrears for fear of businesses going under. And we kind of sit nicely in that respect of helping lenders by getting arrangements in place, and then the client can look at lending again. But the fallout from COVID, it's been insurmountable. And I think we've seen a lot of directors' mental health suffer because they're the ones that have had to juggle it. And now from our side, what is obviously concerning others are furlough investigations will derive more liabilities and more problems. Investigations into the use of the bounce back loans. Companies can't just close themselves down in the same way that they could if they're owing these kind of liabilities. And I think it's just more stressful now than we've ever seen our particular industry because of that fallout from COVID, let alone how people have had to adapt to it as well and change their practices and do that quickly and thoughtfully. And a lot of businesses have tried to shift more online because of it. And, there is a cost to that as well. So it's all been a bit of a juggle for everyone, I think. And now it's about coming out of it. What is the new norm? How do I get my business functioning? And those sort of hints and tips and support are something that we're looking to offer directors as well. We have a strong team around us in our network to look at that sort of mental health support, business support, lending as well, and just try and get them back onto an even keel, really, I suppose.
Brilliant. I mean, you're absolutely right. And in terms of the new norm that is now coming up in the business sector, I know you guys obviously offer within your services great advice and support, like you just mentioned, but do you have any top tips that you give business owners in terms of getting used to the new norm?
I think at the moment it's about taking a step back. I think we all fall foul of being so in the middle of our own businesses. There are a number of businesses who are sole directors, and the business is still them doing the doing day in and day out. And I think what is important following COVID is to take a little bit of a step back and look at your own business model. So whereas before, for example, you may have been a company that sell fabrics to the public, and that sort of trade desk angle went with COVID. People weren't buying it. People aren't still spending the money on refurbishing their homes in that sense. You've got to look at where your model sits in the new world. And I think there is still a lot more money being spent online. People still quite like something delivered to their door complete. And, there isn't as much still of people wanting to go back out shopping on the high street, go and nip in for this, go and nip in for that. So I think hints and tip wise, I would say, look, take a step back, look at your business model, figure out where your income is coming from. Not a lot of businesses look at all the possible angles they could be making money from. They're used to something they may have done for 20 years, and now all of a sudden they've got to switch to something online or move something into a different world. And I think a lot of people have adapted within their own markets as well. We spoke to a number of clients who, prior to COVID, perhaps dealt with one specialised area, but following that, they've reached out to other venues, other types of industries, integrated their services in with them. I think it's being prepared to adapt as well. There is nothing wrong in whether you offer services or products, looking at whether you could be working alongside someone to get those services and products out elsewhere now. You know, and I think it's a little bit of a focus on diversity is important. And above and beyond anything else, it's structure. We spend a lot of our time saying to people, look, having an accountant is worth its weight in gold. One little mistake can cost your business dearly. But having structure, and I know it sounds strange, but a lot of businesses still don't run a good old Excel cash book. Yes, it's time consuming and everything is online nowadays. But the one thing that a cash book can give you in a very old fashioned way is a day-to-day, minute by minute, pound by pound view of your business. You know, we have to ask clients a lot of times for a forecast, you know, to support your payment plan with revenue. Where do you see your business in 12 months? And it's very hard to forecast income when you don't know where that's kind of going to come from or what your bare minimum is, you know. So sometimes, again, having those sort of small minutiae parts of your business monitored helps you see the bigger picture, helps you to keep a tight control over your expenses. Do you need to be spending that much on stationery? Do you need to be spending that much on marketing if you have other options? You know, so little things like that can make a difference on a bigger scale.
Absolutely. It's definitely those tiny, like you said, those minutiae, that everyday little things that you can do to kind of keep control. And I feel like with this particular topic that we're speaking about, so many business owners are going to take so much value from this, because obviously you're speaking from a perspective where you are the middleman. You see both how business owners are being affected and their personal struggles with it, but also how revenue are dealing with it and their kind of processes. And it's just very important, I think, for companies like yours to exist to kind of bridge that gap for people. I do just kind of want to talk about your own personal development journey throughout the last couple of years. What would you say the biggest learnings for yourself and for your own journey with your own company have been?
I think learning ourselves to adapt. We get a lot of business referred to us from the likes of accountants, insolvency firms, business rescues, lenders. And prior to COVID, we were absolutely swamped in that respect, because we don't usurp anyone else's services. I mean, like I said before, when COVID hit, it was like our phones were turned off. So for us, we went from a very steady number of inquiries on a daily basis to nothing at all. And we've had to adapt and survive through COVID, much like a lot of people. So for us, the journey's been quite difficult. You know, again, we've had to rely on the likes of furlough and bounce back loans. And one of the things we have learned, literally when our phone stopped ringing, was, okay, where do we go from here and how do we adapt? So first thing is, sort of lockdowns progressed, we switched very much over to networking and getting our services out there with a view to the world coming back to a normal, whatever that may be. It's very hard to advertise a service that people don't necessarily want to talk about, you know, and although we get a lot of direct inquiries, for us it was like, okay, let's just get ourselves back out there. And as we got into 2021, going towards the end of that and into the start of this year, it was seeing how the world had changed, which was where we knew we had to offer extra levels of support. We always do for our clients and go above and beyond, but seeing the sort of struggles directors were having, especially ones on their business on their own, the fallout from overdrawn directors' loans, the mental health, the balances that they were trying to find. So we adapted, we pursued more networking, and we built the sort of mediation services and business debt services alongside our tax range of services as well. And our philosophy going forward is very much, yes, going to be sustaining what we do, but how else can we help directors it's not always just about, we've got a debt in our business, who can we talk to about it? It's about offering them people that can help them with their marketing, that can help them look at strategies going forward, that can help them look at that minutiae of the business. Who else could we draw into our team? And I think that's what we're sort of going to focus on as well. It was, a learning curve for us, much like anyone else, to go, hey, we've got loads and loads of inquiries coming in, and now we don't. Thanks, revenue, for not chasing debts and that kind of thing. But I think that level of support now is going to be key on what else we offer customers and how we keep adapting. We've seen quite a change for lenders now referring us cases because they need something sort of dealt with on the business side before they even get into looking at sort of raising money for a company now. So yeah, I think it's been an education in how do we market our own services and how do we adapt them really over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I mean, everything you're saying, like I said, it sounds so helpful and so important. And I really think that point you made about it being a difficult topic for people to speak about, it's very, very important for people to feel open and feel like they can discuss these types of things, because at the end of the day, like, would you say the majority of business owners are kind of dealing with something similar?
Absolutely. I think it's very hard to firstly admit that your business is struggling. Businesses are people's babies. Some of these have been going 20 or 30 years, and to come from such a solid foundation and have that rug pulled out from underneath you. I mean, the first step in anything, whether you're looking at just starting a business because of what's happened with COVID, you may have lost your job or anything like that. It's about getting the right advice, and it's about making sure those foundations are right to begin with. And yeah, I think with so many businesses struggling, it's very easy to bury your head in the sand. And I think if there's one message we can give to anyone, talking about it helps. I mean, look, we are here amongst, many other businesses out there who will just have that chat. We like our ethos. We're a family-run business. When we're about helping, and even if that's on a pro bono basis, it's about giving that advice to people. And we've done that for the years we've been doing it. But yeah, look, get the advice, speak out, don't bury your head in the sand, because as much as you may hear from a lot of people that there is always a chance and there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, you've still got to get to that point at the right time. There is a it's too late analogy, unfortunately, so just do reach out. Yeah, do seek that advice.
Well, definitely. Well, in terms of people reaching out and seeking your advice and your services, where can people find you? Do you have websites, social media where people can locate everything?
Yeah, we're on all the social media platforms as well. The website is the normal www. and it's taxdebtshelpandadvice.com. You can certainly find myself, Lisa Tabor, on the likes of LinkedIn as well, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're sort of on there. But feel free to email us as well. We have an inquiries at taxdebtshelpandadvice.com email address. Give us a call as well. It's 0800 448 0293. I had to check that then. I just think just reach out. We will do our utmost to find someone who can help in any related query for a business or its difficulties at the end of the day. And that's the kind of panel we've built over a good couple of decades. So hopefully, if anyone does have anything, if we don't have the answers ourselves, we will know someone who will.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today, Lisa. I really appreciate it. I'm sure so many business owners out there, I think they'll breathe a sigh of relief just to know that not only are other people going through the same thing or a similar thing, but there's places that they can go to get the help they need.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having a chat.